morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola. I'm Mary Beth. I'll be your service leader for today. My pronouns are she and her. Please take a minute now to silence all your cell phones. I feel like I'm very loud. Am I too loud? Could we turn it down just maybe a little? I don't really need a mic, let's be honest. But if you can turn off all the things that make noises, we have a great service, as we always do. Come on, we always have a great service. But if you could turn those off, that would be great. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, visitors. Welcome those watching online. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're new, hopefully you were greeted by one of our lovely greeters outside and was given a pamphlet with our information. If not, you can grab one on the way out, or you can go to our website, uupensacola.org, and it has everything you need to know about the UU organization and our church here, our community. Very active community, if I may say so myself. So check out our website and see all the happenings. We've got the pamphlets out there, a guest card if you are interested to learn more about us or want to join the email. Fill out that guest card, and I think you can leave it on the credenza or give it to somebody with a name tag, and they'll make sure it gets to the right person. So you can fill that out. And about our church, we're very active. As I said, we have a different service every week. It looks a little different today than it did last Sunday, and that's because we don't have a normal pastor, if you will, or minister. It's a lay-led congregation. We have somebody every week that's new, somebody within our community, within our church, or outside of, the state of Florida sometimes. So something different every week. So I think that's that. I'm going to go ahead and get into the announcements because we have a lot. So buckle up. Thank you. They're good, though, so really, you'll be on the edge of your seat if you're not already. First and foremost, most important, Sunday sweets. Strawberry cheesecake, pound cake, and more. The sweets are waiting just outside this door. We will be happy to serve you a single slice or a takeout carton. Now, that would be nice. If you have a gluten issue, we have gluten-free sweets specially for you. So that is today. And for those of you who are new, this is a fundraiser that we do every second Sunday of the month. We take a little break in the summer. So if you are new, you get a free slice. So go ahead and get out there and pick your free slice. If you're not new, thank you for contributing. I hope you brought cash. We also take check, and we'll figure out a Venmo if you have Venmo. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, the next one, the Inner Harmony session that was scheduled for today with Denise Gunn and Felipe Muniz will be rescheduled for another date. It was scheduled for today, but it was canceled due to illness. So it wasn't in the church email or the light, so stay tuned for updates on that. But I think it'll happen in March. That's the Inner Harmonies. Okay. Also, today is Sunday Sweets, as I've said, and that is kind of a tie-in to another announcement that we've been making for a while, which is if you could help clean up after services. For those of you who are new, every Sunday we always have treats and goodies and coffee and water, and we do like a social time just out this way to my right, your left. But today is special, obviously, with Sunday Sweets. But we need help cleaning up because Michael, as you all know, if you don't know him, he's in the back setting up for Sunday Sweets. Yes, applause for Michael. He does everything, and we want to make sure that he has help. And especially on the 22nd of February, which is not next Sunday, but the next Sunday, I think, because he would like to attend the long-term planning committee meeting, one of the 10 or 12 sessions that we have. So it's super quick and easy. You're basically just carrying dishes to the kitchen, maybe taking out some trash. Very easy. If everybody signs up, you only have to do it like once in a blue moon. So the sign-up sheet is in the lobby on the cork board, but definitely want to make sure Michael can attend the February 22nd long-term committee meeting. So thank you in advance for helping all of us out, especially Michael. So on the long-term planning committee meeting. We invite you to help shape UUCP's future. This committee is excited to announce the series of 10 listening sessions. So we've already had quite a few. We have one today, right? February 8th, is that today? Thank you. In the library, so just out in the lobby. So grab yourself a sweet treat, some coffee, and then head into the library, and it'll start shortly after 11, shortly after the service is over. And then the next few are February 22nd, March 1st, and March 22nd. So they have, a committee has been formed, and they'll have representatives in there to listen and get everyone's feedback and thoughts on what we want to do with our church and our future over the next 5 years. So this is really important. Even if you're not a member, even if this is your first time, show up anyway. Tell us what you want from your church community. That's what it's for, right? That's what we're here for. So if you have any questions on that, you can see Brett Ramsey, and I think he's in the sound room, but he's the super tall, handsome fellow wandering around the building. He's my husband. Okay, also today after Sunday, it's a busy day. I know, I'm sorry. I'm going to set up for a special service next week, which is the brunch that's kind of kicking off our pledge drive. So we will have a brunch kind of in lieu of or side by side along with the service. So definitely come next week because Jack Comstock is bringing a majority of the food. Yum. But yes, thank you. Yeah. And, but he does need some help, obviously. He can't bake for everyone. So if you're able to provide some things like sweet rolls, desserts, some drinks, please reach out to Jack. Is he in here? Oh, all the way in the back there. Or you can see me as well. But after service today, I'm going to, if you can help a little bit, knock down the chairs and put up some tables for next week's brunch. We would greatly appreciate it. So yeah, if you can help at all, even a little bit next Sunday for the brunch, please see me or Jack. Are you with me? Are we awake? I've got a few more. Moving right along. All right, this will switch it up. Are you a nerd? Full-on geek? Somewhere in between. Come join us for board game night next Sunday evening from 4 to 8. And I assume we'll do it in the sanctuary or somewhere in the building. Pizza will be provided, yum. So yeah, come and nerd out with us. If you have any questions on that, you can see Daniel Cobb in the very back there. Thank you, Daniel. Also, next Sunday, February the 15th, the second hour will be a JUST Pensacola Network meeting. The purpose will be to prepare for the rally of the Nehemiah Action. Last year, we had over 700 people at the Nehemiah Action. This year, the goal is 1,000. And we want those 1,000 people to ask and reach out to their elected officials to address mental health and do justice. So we definitely need to get ready for that. Please make plans to attend that. So again, that's next week, the 15th, during the second hour. And I'm not sure of the room, probably not in the sanctuary since we're having the brunch, but maybe in the library. Anyway, there's several people you can ask. If y'all will raise your hand, Paula, Lauren Anzaldo, Barbara Wright, and Penny Featherstone, who's not here. There's Paula. Barbara's in the lobby. Lauren's running around probably doing something very important for the church. So also see me and I can point you to one of those people as well. The membership team is seeking greeters and ushers to help welcome folks into the church Sunday mornings. It's super easy. Just get here a little early and slap a smile on your face. We would love one or two more folks to join our friendly team. See Barbara Wright if you would like more information, and she's standing in the back there with the basket, so you can see her for the Just Pensacola, and if you would like to help usher or greet. Last one. Okay. Join UUCP for our regional camp-out retreat. Yes, people have been asking me about a camping trip for forever, and we're doing one finally. So we're excited to announce that we will be heading out on a camp-out retreat October 9th through the 12th, alongside 3 other UU churches from our area, which is super cool. This retreat will offer time for fellowship, connection, and some shared meals. I'm sure we'll have games, songs, all the fun things. If you're interested in joining on that or want more information, you can see me or Chris Brockway there, our president. Yes. Okay. Breaths in and breaths out. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on that journey with me, whether you wanted to or not. Okay, let's, Brett, would you help me light the chalice lighting today? Thank you. We light this flame with faith to face our challenges, with love that casts out fear, with hope to trust tomorrow. We accept this day as the gift that it is, a reason for rejoicing. Thank you. And then I will introduce Brett for our ministry team minutes for the finance team.
Okay, you're going to get to see briefly here what it's like at my house with the difference in the heights. She's constantly saying, she's putting things, she's like, it's right there in front of your face. And it's like, no, it's in front of your face. My face is up here. But for Athena's sake, I'm going to lean over because I know she has to adjust the camera angle a lot for me. But I'm up here today wearing my finance hat. Lori Winterberg and I are the co-chairs of the finance committee around here. And as you may know, we're doing these ministry minutes to make sure that everybody knows about our different committees, because we'd all like to have more participation in our committees, I'm sure. So I'm going to read to you a little bit about what our finance committee does. And we're starting off our budget drive today. So we do like a 3-week push, and today is the beginning of this, and then the next couple of weeks you'll see some more about our finance team. So this is the time of year when you look over your budget and your finances and see what you can, you renew your membership and you renew your pledge for this next year. So our finance team is responsible for developing an annual budget for the church and for organizing efforts to meet this budget through the annual canvas, gifts, rental fees, and other fundraising activities. It's also responsible for the counting and deposit of the Sunday morning offering and for recording attendance numbers. And then we arrange a periodic audit of the books by a committee of members or a certified public accountant. So, yeah, all that fun stuff. It is a very interesting thing for any of us that are interested in numbers and making sure that the church's wheels keep going. And if you are interested in joining, please see Lori or me. In the same kind of spirit as what Nancy did a few weeks ago when she talked about Sunday services, I'd like to first ask all of our members of the finance team, will you please stand? Anybody that's here that's on the finance team? So yes, thank you. And then, wait, keep standing. And then those of you, if you have been on the finance team in the past or have worked with our finance team to help with different events, will you please stand with them? All right, and then lastly, if you have been affected by the finances of this church, please stand with everyone. Okay, so yes, the point of this is to show, our finance committee affects all of us on a very regular basis, and I know it may not be the funnest of committees, as my wife runs Fun and Fellowship, but it is an important committee, and it does help keep the lights on, keep the water flowing, all those different things. So if you are interested in joining us, seriously, please see me or Lori. We would love to have your input on the committee and maybe help keep the wheels going. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a few opening words. Into this house, we bring our hunger for awakening. We bring compassionate hearts and a will toward justice. Into this home, we bring the courage to walk on after hard losses. Into this house, we bring our joy and gratitude for ordinary blessings. By our gathering, we bless this place. In its shelter, we know ourselves blessed. On that note, I think we should sing. because that's a huge blessing to me. So I'm going to ask if everyone is willing and able to stand and sing with us as the choir and musicians come up. And it's going to be in this gray hymnal, which you can find under the chairs. It's number 210, Wade in the Water. And afterwards, remain standing for our covenant. Please and thank you. Stay standing, if you will, and we'll say our covenant together, and it'll be up here. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, choir and band. Now is a time where we call Joys and Sorrows. It's a time for our community here to share joys and sorrows with each other. If you will give your name and briefly share something with us, we will light a candle. It's not recorded. It's not going to be shared online. It's just for those of us today here in this community. So if you want to celebrate with us, if you want us to mourn with you, we're here to do that. Again, just say your name, and you can line up on either side, and we'll light a candle. I will light the first candle as a blanket candle for everything that's going on, because we just don't have enough time to voice all the concerns and sadnesses that are going on around the world. So I'll light one big representative candle for everything in the world, and then if you want to share something personal with us, you can do that. let's sing the children out. I think there are a couple. Jimmy, do you know that tune? Go now in peace, go now in joy. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Jimmy knows it all. I think Jimmy plays it all too. Jimmy was all at where were you yesterday for 13 hours? The Sanger Theater. You can ask him about it afterward. Although no, maybe ask him next Sunday when he goes, after he goes home and takes a nap. We're glad to have you today, Jimmy. Thanks for filling in while Mike's out. Yes, thank you, Jimmy. And of course, our regular band members, Miss Hollywood and Pappy. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that we are a lay-led community, and we also are member-funded. So this is the time where we ask if you have any offerings and tithes that you would like to give. We would like to receive that gratefully and thankfully. So we'll have our ushers pass around a basket, but if you want to give, you can text, you can send in a check. I think most of our friends and members give online too, so if you want to visit our website, you can see how to give set up recurringly or just one-time things. So can y'all play just a little something? Thank you. Thank you, ushers, and thank you, band.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce somebody who's going to introduce our speaker, but it's a team effort. I think everybody, unless if this is your first time here, everybody knows Tom Botsford here. I mean, we are beyond blessed to have him as a friend of our community. Obviously, he's a talented saxophone, so I'd be fine if he just came in, played a little something and left, but he does way more than that for our community, and we're so thankful for that. Yes, thank you. So anyway, Tom, thank you so much for organizing this and for bringing our speaker today.
Okay, I'll start.
Yeah, thanks. Tom, everybody.
Hey, good morning. Our guest this morning is a longtime friend of UUCP, Nancy Ziccardi of Selma, Alabama. Many of you know Nancy. She's many things, but a singer-songwriter. She's an artist, illustrator. She's an educator. Before she moved to Selma in 2005, she lived here in Pensacola and worked as a social worker for the state. In the late 80s and 90s, she led bands here that played mostly her original compositions. I was fortunate enough to play in some of those bands, and we made several appearances. Nancy says 5. I can't believe it was that many, but several appearances on Radio Live, well recorded, well received, and rebroadcast over the years, so people still come up and say, hey, you know, I heard Nancy Ziccardi and you play on WUWF. Well, last year, when Alabama Public Radio was in Selma working on a storytelling project, Nancy was asked to participate. We'll play you a portion of that interview in just a moment. It's entitled, You Can Kill Somebody and Get Away With It. Which brings me to one of our purposes today, to remind ourselves of the ultimate sacrifice that civil rights activists paid for coming to Alabama in 1965 to support Dr. Martin Luther King's March for Voting Rights. And one of these people, Unitarian Universalist minister James Reeb, we'll show you his picture a little later, was attacked by a group of racist thugs on March 9th, 1965, and beaten so badly he died 2 days later at a Birmingham hospital. He was, I think, 38, husband, 4 children. He started his ministerial and social service career as a Presbyterian, but later switched to our denomination because, for one reason, as he put it, he was much impressed with the Unitarian Universalist commitment to civil rights at that time. Reeb became an activist. He lived in various places, Philadelphia, New York, other places, and he chose chose with his family to live in a predominantly poor black neighborhood because his daughters explained that Reeb felt he could not conduct his outreach living separately somewhere in an affluent white neighborhood. That just gives you an idea of his commitment at that time. Now, March of 1965 was a crucial time in the struggle for equal voting rights in the Deep South. Dr. King was the leader of a series of marches that month from Selma headed toward Montgomery. One of those marches, on March the 7th, has come to be known as Bloody Sunday because, as I think many of you know, Alabama state troopers and posse men sprayed tear gas and beat protesters after they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. This was on national TV. I can remember I was 14, 15 at the time, and my mother was watching the Today Show. She said, "I can't believe this." There was a national outrage, and a couple of weeks later, King successfully led a march that reached its goal. They got to Montgomery, the Alabama state capitol, on March the 24th. And the following day, 25,000 people, that's a lot of people from Montgomery, Alabama in 1965, 25,000 people staged a protest on the Capitol grounds. Now, later that same year, in response to the violence in Selma, and at the behest of President Lyndon B. Johnson, Congress passed the Voting Rights Act of 1965, closing the loopholes that had allowed states to exclude people of color, often with technicalities like, in quotes, literacy test. Well, this little bit of background, I think, helps us appreciate this interview, this audio clip we have of Nancy Ziccardi in Selma, which concerns these things I've just mentioned. Can we have that now?
I came up to Selma with a friend and we went to the Voting Rights Museum. And in the Voting Rights Museum, there was a memorial with candles of like 10 plus people who were killed during the civil rights movement. And there's these candles and I'm going, oh, okay. There's a Unitarian minister that got killed in Selma. I didn't know about it. For those who don't know, that's when Martin Luther King called the ministers from across the nation to come to Selma to support the civil rights movement in the march. And Reverend Reeb flies in. So after the march, they go to a black cafe. Coming out of the black cafe, they get beat up. And so I guess on his way to Birmingham Hospital, he dies. And the woman at the Voting Rights Museum says, he was killed by part of a group of young people that killed the Unitarian minister. Duck Hoggle was one of them. And he's still alive and well and was exonerated. None of the people who were involved in the killing of the minister were charged. And she proceeded to say, and he runs a used car salesmanship in Selma, Alabama now, and he's alive and well. I'm like, wow, you can kill somebody or be involved in the murder of somebody and you can get away with it. 2006, Willie and I moved to Selma. and we want to buy property. We want to go find some property to put a horse. And we're finding African Americans with horses down on the Alabama River. And my partner's African American. It's these young kids riding horses 1 mile from downtown Selma. I say, hey, this is kind of cool. Let's go check this out. We go down there, and there's a guy in a truck. And we pull up, and he's right on the river, out on the Alabama River. And he said, hey, do you know any land around here where we could put a horse? We want to buy some land to put a horse. I said, oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I got some property right here for you. And he gives me a card, and he's a used car salesman. And I go, well, we get back in the car. We follow him to the property, and I showed it to Willie. But look at the card. It says Duck Hoggle. Really? Duck, D-U-C-K. I never heard a name like that before. And Willie and I go, oh, maybe this is the guy. So we go down there. He's all friendly, nice. We're an integrated couple. He's not messing around with us. Everything looks good. We buy property from him. About 3 or 4 months into moving to Selma and knowing Duck, a friend of mine says, go online. Duck Hoggle was one of the 3 or 4 people who were involved in the killing of Reverend Reeb. After I found out, I looked at his children and wife, and having a wife that's now deceased, and having grandchildren, and having property, and living his life. I thought about that Reverend Reeb didn't have that opportunity.
That's it. Okay. Is this on?
No? Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how well you heard that. Some of it was, but we can answer questions about it. Nancy, thanks for coming. Have a seat, and let's talk about that. So you're, yes. Here we have the photo of the Reverend Reeb that we're talking about. This is the murder that occurred, and apparently the justice was never done. No one was ever convicted, or the 3 were tried and found, but the jury wouldn't convict them. And another one ran away, and there never was any justice for him. He literally was murdered by 4 or 5 thugs after he had eaten something in an integrated restaurant in Selma in 1965. And he wasn't the only one. There were other people, of course, who lost their lives in this early part of the struggle. It really was a frightening time. Now, that's a long time ago. That's 1965. I was 14 or 15 years old. Some of you weren't even around by that time. But I can tell you, even though I was on the other side of the state of Alabama, the air was thick with tension because everybody was frightened of political violence breaking out. Right. Well, Nancy, could you start by telling us how you, a little bit more about why you decided to move from here to Selma in 2005?
Maybe the bottom line is that it was an adventure. My mother had passed, so you're not supposed to make major decisions when there's a death in the family. But we moved to Selma right after Hurricane Ivan. Ran away from hurricanes. And I really don't know. I'd like to say that it was the civil rights movement or the nonviolent movement that got me there. And maybe kind of the bottom line, it was very interesting that there was activism in Selma. Yeah.
So
actually, it was the property was inexpensive in Selma compared to Pensacola. Could buy property, and we did.
And you bought it from the guy who
property from Duck Hoggle, who was one of the killers, one of the people who beat up Reverend Reeb. and didn't know it. We didn't know it.
Yeah. So, do any of you have questions about that? Yes.
I'd love to ask, I wonder, I bet it was a complicated feeling to have bought property from that man. And I wondered if you could talk a bit about what your thoughts were when you found that out.
I looked at his wealth and his and all those material things that he had. Tons of land on the river, you know, in Florida. Waterfront's big time. Selma, he's got all this waterfront property. He's flying his wife to cancer treatments in Texas. He's wealthy. Duck Hagel. And but the interesting thing was that he was friendly to me and kind of helped me out.
And he knew you were an interracial couple.
And he
Right.
was very,
Cool
mellow
with that.
about it.
Right.
When my
How did you read that?
How did I read it? I thought it was.
Did he change, or did you think he was patronizing?
People told me that he changed, and he also was a positive member in the community, the black community. Maybe he gave them real good deals on used cars. Maybe Mr. Hoggle is A-okay. He helped me out. But kind of bottom line, he had a nice life.
Yeah.
He had a real nice life. He had a condo in Orange Beach. He had a nice life, family and children, grandchildren. So I saw the poverty of the city and the poverty of the people, and I saw his ability to have resources.
Right. Right. Live and let live, I guess is what it's called. And of course, again, it's political violence. We see political violence today in other circumstances. And there are a number of times, the ones we have today, those people may never see any justice. I'm talking about Minneapolis right now. But Nancy, I understand that you live downtown Selma. You're right on the tourist route, right? And I wish we brought a picture of her place. She has a store that says storefront, downtown Selma.
Storefront, Selma Machine Shop.
Music,
I
art.
redid it
Yeah.
into a art studio, music studio, and I now live there because that's my resource.
Right.
That's what I've got.
And so people will actually stop by your house when they're coming for the.
They're going to Brown Chapel AME where the march started. I actually live 18 Martin Luther King Jr. Street, and I may be the only white woman that lives on Martin Luther King Jr. Street, and I'm kind of an oddball, but the mayor knows me, the city council knows me. I've taught music in town enough. Over 20 years of living in a town, people know you.
And you say.
And I believe that I am respected. I'm not like an outsider, but initially, well, actually in Alabama, I hate to say this, but anybody who's not from the South is an outsider. So you had to be real careful not to sound too Yankee. You had to, anyway.
You told me that Selma is 80% African American. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
And so the government is African American.
The government is African American. We've had mayors past 20 years. The whole time I've been there, African American mayors, city council, professional folks, superintendent of schools. There have been some struggles in managing an older city. It is a historic city. If you all don't know, it was big time during the Civil War, and there's big time antebellum homes, historic homes. So, yeah. But I walk, and it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of odd. I walk downtown with my dog, but the mayor knows me. The deal is I taught guitar to probably the mayor's child and the lawyer's child and the superintendent's school. So after 8 years now, they're calling me Ms. Nancy. So
Okay.
yeah, in Selma, I'm Ms. Nancy. And so when I see Tom, I go, Mr. Tom.
Right. Well, that's
You
that's,
gotta.
that's a Southern
That's
habit.
Alabama.
If a woman was married, didn't matter if you were a kid, you called her Miss Ethel or Miss so-and-so or Miss so-and-so. Old Southern thing. These are some images from 1965 in Selma. There was not just one march, there was a series of marches, but Bloody Sunday spurred a lot of the action, and many people said it was the inspiration for passing the Voting Rights Act later that same year. Nancy, you have selected another song to play, Nobody's Fault But Mine. It has kind of a story behind it because it was originally just a straight old country blues. Yeah.
Gospel, black country,
Right.
gospel song, and apparently a 1930s blues artist wrote it, or at least has that copyright or something. I don't know about the copyrights, but it became a very famous song. It's called Nobody's Fault But Mine, and actually Tom brings it up that, and we discussed this, that the song says, if I don't read, my soul be lost. And that kind of ties into the whole segregation thing of black folks were not supposed to learn how to read. We're talking country folks. The white folks didn't want the black folks to learn how to read. If I don't read, my soul be lost. It's nobody's fault but mine. So this is a song written in the 30s, maybe before then. Well, lo and behold, Led Zeppelin, Johnny Cash, Nina Simone, probably it's become a classic. And it was a rock and roll kind of druggy classic in the 70s and 80s with Led Zeppelin. And then, so I have a 78-year-old guitar student. He wants to do the song Nobody's Fault But Mine. I say, hell no, I'm not going to do that song. That sounds too Catholic. That's too guilt-ridden. I ain't going to go there. And I find out all this other stuff. And then I end up loving the song, and then I meet 16-year-old kids who live in the country going to the countrified gospel churches. Countrified, big time. I said, hey, 16-year-old. You know, you think they're doing hip-hop or they're doing whatever they're doing. I say, hey, do you know the song Nobody's Fault But Mine? They go, yeah, we sing it about every month. I'm like, phew. So anyway, we're going to do that song, but that's a good one if you want to do any research on. That has a nice story to it. Anyway.
Well, we'll try our luck on Nobody's Fault But Mine.
Is it time?
Yes, it's time.
Okay. Well, and you all can sing along. By the way, the original guy from the 30s, it's a one-chord song. If you know music at all, it's a one-chord song. And he goes, on YouTube, of course, YouTube, right? Nobody's fault but mine. Nobody's fault but mine. That's how he just sings it, right? Okay. Well, we're doing Nina Simone. Okay. I don't read, my soul be lost. If I don't learn how to read, I'm not going to be able to vote. I'm not going to be able to move in this world. And actually, with the voting rights movement, to register to vote, you had to pass a literacy test. And so reading was a big deal. Okay. Can't stop, can we? But we can stop feeling guilty. We can go forward and do what we need to do, right? If I don't read, yeah, my soul be lost. Nobody's
Thank you, Nancy and Tom. Thank you both for sharing and sharing your story with us. We have a closing song, and the words will be up on here, so if you are willing and able to stand one more time with us, Nancy and the choir will come up and lead us in this song. People, get ready. I think most of us should know it.
People get ready, there's a train
closing words, and just don't forget there's Sunday Suites, long-term committee, setting up for the sanctuary for brunch. Lots going on, but some closing words, and then we'll have these wonderful musicians play us out. Into our world, we must entrust our spirits. May the strength we have gained in this communal hour sustain us as we resume the work that is at hand. And there is a lot of work at hand. Thank you so much. We love you. Go in peace.